Greetings, everyone, and a warm welcome to another edition of Marketing the Invisible. My name is Tom Poland, beaming out to you as ever from little Castaways Beach in Queensland, Australia. Joined today by Ken Krell. Ken, very, very warm welcome from down under here. Whereabouts are you hanging out?
I'm in Sydney, so I'm just down the street, sort of,
Are you?
on a
Yeah, just down the
on a
road.
geographic level.
Yeah, if I
Yeah,
throw a pebble out the window.
and we're out of lockdown. Life is good.
Folks, Ken and I connected a while ago and just clicked, the rapport was flowing, the conversation was flowing, and so I wanted to have him on my show. For those of you who don't know him, however, for over a third of a century, which sounds like a very long time, and it is,
Isn't it?
Ken's has inspired literally thousands of people from all over the world by sharing really very powerful ways to create wealth, prosperity, and happiness in their lives. Which brings us quite nicely to the title of this, which is how to give your coaching, consulting, or speaking business a seven-figure bump in a weekend. So that should get your attention because it certainly got mine. Ken, our 7 minutes is going to start now, sir. Well, let's go with question number one. Who is your ideal client?
Obviously, speakers, authors, coaches, consultants, people with a message to share.
Perfect. A message to share. Question number two is, what's the problem you solve for them?
Biggest problem that most of these folks have is how do you market your programs? How do you market your products? How do you get the best price you can get? How do you change and transform the most people? How do you scale better?
Right. So it's all about scalability, serving more people, and as a consequence of that, the bank account balance is going to grow quite nicely as well, I imagine. Question number three, 6.5 minutes left. What I'm interested here is the typical symptoms that your ideal clients are going to be experiencing before they start working with you. What's going on in their business or their life or their thinking where that'll give them a bit of a heads up that they should find out more about what you do?
A lot of them have imposter syndrome. They don't value themselves the way they need to be valued. They don't recognize the effect that they have on others where they could ultimately price significantly more.
Right.
And that's just one of the biggest shifts I need to do with folks is that they recognize that. They also, a lot of them are intimidated by the thought of going into digital events, which is what we'll be talking about. And so they think it's not for them or it's dying. Just a lot of misconceptions is the biggest place. They think too much.
Right. And, it's... was it Mark Twain said, it's not the things we don't know that hurt us the most, it's the things we think we know that just ain't so. So let's go to question number four. We've got 5.5 minutes left. What I'm interested here is the common mistakes. So you're talking about coaches, trainers. These are people who want to help people. They're growth orientated. They're going to try stuff. So what do you see some of the common mistakes that people try before they find your solution?
Oh gosh, that's a 3-day conversation. Probably among the biggest things I've seen is if they run an event, they bring in so many other speakers to add value that they don't get to showcase themselves.
Okay.
So that they to some degree it's a feeling of security that they have all these other speakers, but they shoot themselves in the foot. Or they'll do events with the wrong structure. That's not a winning structure. I mean, I've been doing this it's literally 40 years. Sort of a sound tree sounds better, but it's been 40 years.
Right.
So we have a system that works. It just and they don't follow that system because they don't know that system.
Right.
They don't plan. They don't strategize. They don't price properly as well. I mean, massive mistakes in pricing where people really buy based on value, not based on price. And you don't need to compare with anyone else because you are unique. And they forget that. The massive mistakes like that.
Right. So true.
If you knew what value you were providing, you'd have no problem. And then you can make an offer with feeling good and feeling comfortable with it and not feel cheeky or creepy or anything.
Right. And this goes back to the imposter syndrome you mentioned before. So there's a lot of strategic things you mentioned there about, promoting themselves at their own event, not too many other people, the pricing and so on. And it sounds like one of the common mistakes, therefore, is rushing into the tactical, to the execution before they've got the strategy ducks in a row, so to speak.
Yeah, one of the other ones is they over tech. I mean, I have a friend that just did his first digital event this weekend, and the room of all the tech he put in place, he didn't need it. I mean, this is so my set right here. Yeah. We do massive dollars, 2 palm trees, right? A picture and a camera. That's it.
And a good mic.
On my dining room table.
Yeah. Ditto. I've seen the same deal over tech, and tech for the sake of tech and not required. So let's go on to question 5, which is where we start adding value to people. We've set the scene now. People are hopefully going to be their ears are pricked up and go, oh yeah, that could have been me. One valuable free action, like a top tip, if you could tell our coaches, trainers, consultants a step in the right direction they could take, what would that top tip be? 3 minutes.
I'm going to start with the money. Great. I'll start with the money piece. What value do you add to your clients? Let's get to that fundamental.
Right.
So if you're in a hard type of thing or a tangible thing, so you're doing some with investments, you know that you can add another $100,000, for example, to their bottom line if you work with them, or the average person you've helped has created that. Then look at how you price. If you have a $5,000 program, but you're giving them $100,000 worth of value, you're way underpriced. I want to price base at like 10x what I give people. If you're in an intangible situation, like you do marriage counseling or self-esteem or weight loss or whatever, what does that translate to in terms of value? What's it worth to them to wake up in the morning bouncing out of bed feeling great as opposed to falling out of bed feeling lousy? There's a tangible number that you can associate with that. What's that? And if you can dial that in, then you can price accordingly. I'm saying price based on a 10x return to your client. Because if you know that if you can give someone $500,000 of value, if you work with them, you can have a $50,000 program with great integrity. It's a great ROI for the client. You may go out with 30, but if you do, now you can sell from your toes leaning forward, saying, guess what? There's huge value, and believe in yourself. Imposter syndrome goes out the window because you're comfortable in knowing what you are worth, and no one can take that away from you. That's powerful.
And do you also find that when people increase their prices significantly, actually increases desire in the marketplace?
It does, and your sales go up. And your sales go up. I want everyone listening to be able to talk to their client, make their offer, or what I call an invitation. And if they say no, I want you to feel that they need to go into counseling. That if they say no, something is clinically wrong with them because your offer is so good. That's where I want people to be.
All right. Thank you, sir. 60 seconds left. I better move things along. Valuable free resource. Where can we direct people to go to find out more about what you do?
We're going to give you guys what I call the Digital Event Essentials Plan. It's called the Deep, and it dives in. I mean, it's the best of what I do. It'll show you everything along the way. It's comped for everyone watching. There's a link that we're going to put in the show notes.
We will.
Joinpride.com/MTI. So it's all there for everybody.
So joinpride, pride.com/MTI. Initially the acronym for this interview, Marketing Invisible. Go there, folks, and go get it. We've got 27 seconds left. Question number 7, sir. What's the one question I should have asked you but didn't?
Why digital events? And the biggest reason real quickly is faster, easier, less risk, more fun, better to deploy. You win.
Not your first rodeo. Ken Krell, thank you so much for your insights and your time and the wealth of experience you've shared with us.
Thanks, Tom. You're awesome.
Cheers. Thanks for checking out our Marketing the Invisible podcast. If you like what we're doing here, please head over to iTunes to subscribe, rate us, and leave us a review. It's very much appreciated. And if you want to generate 5 fresh leads in just 5 hours, then check out www.5hourchallenge.com.